Good morning and welcome to today's live show. I know we're on a little bit late today. Don't worry, we're going to give you guys a little bit more time here. My brother actually I'll wait till people get in here so they know. Because my brother was highly intelligent. No. My brother actually had a business trip. They had like some business trip down in Texas, and he got the kids taken care of, but totally forgot to take care of the dog. So that's a big problem. Got to make sure that dog's taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention to some stuff today. Looks like we're seeing that upward movement. One thing that I noticed as I'm looking at the charts here is we're noticing that the dollar is heading higher while the put call ratio is heading lower at the same time. So yeah, we're still going to be paying attention to the stock market. I know we're a little late. My brother came over this morning to give us some stuff to take care of his dog because he had a business trip. So I'm sorry that we're late coming on this morning. But as of this morning, you know, watching this develop, I wasn't really paying too close attention to it. Just peeking over at my phone, looking for reversal signals to hold up here because we are noticing that the dollar is going up decent size upward move there for the dollar, but the SPY is going up above a daily expected move very early on in the day. And at the same time, we notice that the PCC is low. So we are noticing that we do have people running to the call side outside of a daily expected move, while there seems to be possibly some insider selling. So this is the rigged behavior that we do look for. Now we have to see if it's proven in the charts, right? We have to see if little things start curling down. If 30 minutes start curling down, that's going to be a big issue. As of right now, you want to see if these 2 hours can still turn down. You do have the multiple point divergence, but meaning retail is pushing this up, and this is kind of what I'm fearful of, is we're going to get one more big push higher for, you know, we were leaning towards some kind of top forming by the beginning of this week. Actually, I think in the first couple of days here, we could see that further price. What we're really looking for is, do the Qs make it above this high, right? That's what we're still paying attention to at this moment. NVIDIA rocking, so I did have to manage a trade here for a moment. We'll see what happens with this going forward. But for the most part, we can see Tesla still dropping down to lower levels. That was the most likely thing there. NVIDIA, this actually said, hey, I need to pull back. So this might be still getting a little too excited, but it is getting rid of some of the points of divergence that it did form in the past, and we're breaking out of a channel. But the thing that's just worrying me with today is the fact that the SPY is higher, the dollar's higher, and we have a lower PCC early on in the morning, which in the morning is the retail hour as well. So going to be interesting to see how this shapes up by the end of the day. That's what I would most likely be talking about right now, just seeing how this shapes up by the end of the day. Once again, just making sure to be careful in an environment like this. But I think the main thing we have to pay attention to in the early part of this week is, do we make a move outside of this weekly expected move to get above this high? Because I think that tells us a lot. It tells us, hey, there is some good strength here, and we did break out. Can we consolidate again and then turn back up? That's what I'm looking for there. But if we end up turning down today, maybe with some of the rigged behavior we are seeing, if we end up turning down today, that's not necessarily going to be the best sign for stocks going forward. It does mean some kind of sudden thing down can take place. And I'm actually looking over, you know, when I do have an assessment like this, like I made last week, saying, hey, this is going to lead to, if we go higher, some kind of bigger corrective move. And then if we end up going lower from right here, right, we make that lower high, then we could see actually some kind of more crash bear market style behavior, meaning that we maybe see a sudden drop and then we start that bear market out. Well, I wanted to get that second opinion, so I did check in on a few people that they look at different things than me, but I do trust their opinion. They just look at things a little bit differently. And so I was looking at their stuff, and they were overall talking about the same thing. And a lot of it has to do with China and things like that. So I need to look into it further. But for the most part, I would just say a lot of people that I trust are having the assessment that we need some kind of bigger drop before this election's before the election's over, or the voting takes place, the election's over. But yeah, some decent moves. You just want to see, are we getting those moves outside of weekly expected moves? Are we getting those moves outside of dailies? Notice this, AMD, even though NVIDIA is showing extreme positivity, remember, NVIDIA likes to trap people a lot of the time, but AMD AMD still faltering here with that overall cup and handle kind of look, so we're paying attention to it. Yeah, it would be mostly you would say across the board. It doesn't mean we have to like crash down. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean we have to absolutely just go boom through the floor. I think if we're not going to have the Qs beat this high up here, then I think we could start more of a bear market style where there's some confusion on whether or not we actually are crashing down. You know what I mean? We just kind of make those stair step moves down, get a big reaction. I think we could see that style. That's just something I'm paying attention to because I think we have a good shot of doing something like that, but mainly just want to see if these things start to curl over on the bigger time frames. That's going to be a big hint. I do have to get some other stuff up real quick, so give me just a moment here. Once again, brother came over for coffee this morning. We were chatting a bunch, and he has a flight, and he needed me to take care of his dog, so he forgot about his dog. So yeah, sorry I was late this morning. It just happened all of a sudden. But his dog's name's Gordon, and he's really cute, and my wife loves him. So we got to take care of that guy. He's not going to stay here, though. We have too many dogs here, you know? Way too many. Way too many dogs, you know what I'm saying? All right, let me look at these. I do want to check this out. I think what I want to do, go like this. Alrighty. Alright, so I managed that one on my phone. We gotta look back at NVIDIA if we want to get back into that. I actually think there's a better play here, and I actually think it might be volatility as it's still remaining at higher levels. So I want to check on that real quick. Starting to touch that 20 level again, so I can just sit and see if this thing reverses back around and then see if I get a volatility play. We'll notice that the SPY is making that upward move. What we might check on is the futures for a moment. Is my mic muted? Okay. The futures, don't pay attention to the purple line. That has not been updated. I might update that right now, actually, just so nobody's confused out there. I don't use futures too often, but I do like to look at it when we're seeing something a little crazy because it can spread out those time frames a little bit. So 5896, 5896.24, boom. So way up there is actually where the topside weekly expected move is. And for the SPX, or you can use this for the futures market as well, right? If you trade futures, you can use this. We do put it out for the SPX. It is a little bit different, right? But that's going to be the levels to watch. You notice we're outside of that. So what we're noticing from the futures is we're not holding the 30-minute, obviously, but the 2-hour, we want to see if this holds throughout this whole 2-hour, see if that can fade soon. If not that, we're still paying attention because these 4 hours are still at lower levels, but we are getting rid of the divergence. But I think the big thing for today is dollar higher, PCC lower, and stocks are going higher for the most part. So that's all we'll be looking at. Let me update the bottom side real quick here. That's going to be 5733.84. And I was watching stocks a little bit late last night. And 5789, 5789.75. We are working on right now, tell me what you guys think about this. We are working on making the chat a little bit more fun, maybe starting a supporter side. And I'm going to personally, me and my wife are going to make emotes for you guys with some bulls, some bears. I thought about doing Jim Cramer and like, what's his name? Jerome Powell, like as a clown. I thought that would be funny, but we'll see. We'll see if we're actually going to do that. All right, and this is again where we just have to make sure no bigger time frame is crossing. As of right now, that looks like it wants to tilt down. So if we are going to see some kind of crazy volatility come in this week, which I think I would really expect if we're going to see that stuff come in, it would be most likely, I would say in the first 3 days. I think by Wednesday we're going to see something. Maybe we head up towards a weekly expected move first. There's some weird. at, sorry, I'm just reorganizing some stuff over here. Timing is everything with this. Okay, timing's everything with this. So we gotta have the order ready. Seeing something crazy as of right now. Dow not really making as good of a move as everything else. Neither is IWM really. How are our guys over at... Mara actually did see that upward move. Remember we were talking about that lower high, or higher low. And then it looks like AMC relatively flat. GME turning down a little bit, right? Negativity until that 30-minute can turn back up into positive territory. That's what we're looking for there. Palantir making that next move up, and you'll notice some resistance coming in at that level. So that's going to be a big deal going forward as well. I'm going to look for, let's look at Palantir. Let's see if this is showing anything. I need my other charts up, but I think this is just the 2-hour pullback for the most part. Daily pullback for the most part. You would expect that to drop all the way to 36. Right? That's the last place we really bundled up. Pricing of these. Not bad. Okay, let's go through. I'm gonna actually pull up my other charts here and we're gonna look for some reversals for you guys. We'll see if there's any signals popping up for us or a trade setup early on in the week, because these are some pretty good upward moves. All right, let's click through. Starting off on 30 minutes, you do have something like Apple. Apple showing a big potential move to the upside or downside here. Let's take it from this point. Break that. 93. That would be like a 10% drop. Are we really going to go through that? And its weekly is 233. Okay, so we got a little bit more room to the upside here for Apple. We'll see if anything comes from that. You are creating a little point of divergence there, so just pay attention to that. Creating another little point of divergence. We'll see if that thing can turn back down. Tesla, this one here, not really giving anything as of this moment. Yeah, we can get those reactions up, but right now everything pointing pretty down, trying to get some kind of bounce. Amazon still showing that divergence, now saying, hey, I might fall over here. Watch out if this 2-hour does cross. That could be some kind of lower high in that area. We'll see if we can build back, right? We'll see if we can build back, but for now, looks pretty likely. NVIDIA, this thing just tearing to the upside. Very big tear to the upside. We don't mind seeing that. Actually, what is the move for this? We can go a little bit higher. So we do have a little bit higher till that weekly move comes into play, but you are getting pretty close to it. I think you're about $1.50 off from it. So we'll see with that one. No real good reverse signals, just one on the MACD there. AMD is the one that if this thing curls down, well, we'll look for divergence down at this level, but you would be completing some structure here to actually head lower. What would this be? Let's take the pretty much like average here, go to the closings, pull that down. Yeah, 152 is where you could end up if this fully plays out. Meta scooping up, really trying to complete that cup. All right, we're trying to get a cup there. 2 hours trying to curl up. How high up is Meta supposed to go this week? It can go a little higher than this. It can go a little bit higher than that. Microsoft, good little turn up there. Wasn't able to cross back down, just crossed up, seeing positivity, getting to our little zone. No real reversal signals there. Google, everything looks relatively good except for the actual market. That's the interesting thing. It's just the bigger time frames that really look bad. Now, Netflix is something I'm pretty worried about going into earnings. Netflix is going to be the thing that starts off the earnings. That will be on Thursday. So something interesting that would happen here is if we actually do turn up on this 30-minute, because the 2-hour has confirmed divergence at these levels. So this is saying daily looks like it can cross down, and it's crossing down with triple divergence as of right now. So I'm going to go look at the pricing on this. I don't have weekly moves. I just want to look at the pricing on it. I don't necessarily want to jump into something that has earnings. Let's see. Man, I wish I made a move for this. I should have made a move for this since this was earnings. We're starting to taper a little. See if we can taper more. How low could we go here? 543 does look interesting, doesn't it? There's a big potential drop there. You got divergence all across this too. A lot of weakness can come in for this guy. Maybe the real thing to pay attention to are those bigger time frames. And I think that's the smart thing too, is just mainly blowing up those time frames, seeing if those dailies roll down. That can help us out a lot, just extending those time frames a little bit. I want to kind of look over at SQQQ. What's that sitting at? Ooh, okay. So we are sitting a little low. When was this? This was August. August is that. No, I'm still feeling like volatility might be the play here. Double check on this. Still 51. Sorry, I'm having to do my personal analysis here too, because I'm like, that doesn't look the most reversal. 15-minute looks pretty strong, just overbought. Maybe we'll use the top side weekly expected move, or daily expected move. Oh, who's calling me? Dang it. Everyone's trying to hit me up today. 4 hours still holding a little bit here. Dang, that is a move and a half. Still low PCC, dollar is rising. All right, looks decent. We'll hold that up for a little bit. Yeah, so dollar continuing to rise here, by the way. I know it's overbought and this dollar can drop off, but we'll pay attention to that as it drops off. For now, I want to just see if volatility is going to turn back up. Still holding above 20 right now. Volatility holding above 20. See if that can touch some tips. Get a more significant little divergence here. Not going to be too significant on the RSI. We just need this 2 hour to flip back around, and then we know, hey, volatility is coming back in. What's the Dow doing? Holding the reversal signal there. Not a 45. Ooh, not really holding the reversal signal here, so that's interesting. Cool market. Trying to stay live for at least till 10:30. Sorry, I had something in my teeth if you heard some ASMR for a second there. I'll be clicking around a bunch, but I think now we just sit on the SPY, and then we'll look at the Qs if they keep extending, but for now we just sit on the SPY. Qs are just going to be very important to see, like, are we, this is holding. Violated it just a little bit there. Okay. What is going to happen here? Why is the dollar going up dramatically there? People for the dollar. The UN, what's the UN? You just gotta figure out what's happening by end of day. Maybe we'll do a closing stream today. All right, Q's starting to tilt here. XLU building back. Apple holding. I think Apple's the one that's really showing a decent signal. It's just not at that weekly expected move yet. We've done really well to get to this level, to consolidate, to break through that level pretty cleanly. But then we headed up here, we're still within that gap, you notice, and that resistance comes in. But our weekly expected move, pretty even with these levels, pretty much the gap fill. And TLT, maybe this is, ooh, TLT, I want you guys to see this. Look at this look for TLT. Okay, TLT. You see that move. And what's the downside? So we didn't hit the exact downside move, but look at this divergence that is forming here for TLT. Why is this really forming right here? I'm gonna have to look at this for my investment, see what the 2 hour looks like here. Oh, it's just beat up. Let's see if we see the reverse signal here. We do. Very, very steep here for the 10-year. Oh, goodness. I wonder if TLT's the play. We'll see. See if things reverse back around. I might take a chance with it there. Like an early investment, not really take a option play, but take some kind of investment play there. I think what's mostly important is going to be tech stocks. It's going to be the Qs and things like that. I'm sorry if I'm not reading chat too much. I just really want to kind of focus in for a second here. My morning kind of got thrown around a little bit. One thing to note, guys, this thick red line is the yearly expected move, as high up as we're supposed to go for all of 2024. That is what the options market priced in. 68% chance we actually land below that. by the end of the year, right? The end of the year close. So interesting to see some daily signals here, some weekly signals still here. So we'll have to see if this is able to rotate back down. Still got the divergence pretty steep there on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time. So this could just be some kind of pullback, maybe to test that level that we were kind of talking about, at least with the SPY, right? Retesting this level right here, because it's right where that weekly expected move is. That would be an interesting look. Refresh here, see if anything is happening. It looks like a rigged move is coming. It looks like a rug pull is coming. According to how the dollar is behaving in the PCC, it's looking like a rug pull is a higher probability of a rug pull in this moment, especially out of our 68% zone. But it is a breakout moment, so I could see how people are seeing it as very, very bullish, but it seems a little bit FOMO-y to me. If I wanted to, and I still think this market can go higher, which it always can, I can just be patient for the actual good pullback, right? The actual, another moment like this would be fine too, where you kind of consolidate sideways for on a bigger time frame, like the 2 hour, right? You just really consolidate, and you notice that thing crossed up, dipped back down, crossed up again, maybe managed the trade, but crossed up again, and boom to the upside. So good stuff to be had there. How did that affect UVXY? Kind of dropping off a little bit here. This is something we're paying attention to, just seeing if UVXY makes a deeper move, right? See if volatility goes down a little bit deeper. Kind of sitting right at that 20 level, not like it really wants to break down yet. We'll see if it can. But I think the main thing to see for the day is if this thing turns around, I want to be reacting pretty quickly here. Do this. We're entitled orders. Okay, and news this week. Let's look at that too. A lot of Fed speakers. A lot of Fed speakers. And then retail sales on Thursday, plus Netflix earnings on Thursday as well. Jobless claims, initial jobless claims, going to be important. These jobless claims have become more and more important. All right, now we're starting to see a blip here, right? We just want to kind of see this. We know that this means that the SPY is most likely seeing some red, just barely turning down. But this is the signal that really held. A lot of that FOMO can get rid of the signal on the SPY, but just note it is still here for volatility. We'll pay attention if that can rotate up. I think TLT is interesting still. I'm very interested in this for an upside move, some kind of bounce. Now the 2 hour is going to be extremely negative here. So even a reaction up can stop around 95. Maybe towards the gap fill a little bit closer, 96, 73, 97 in that area. Now PCC going to 0.8. Two hours is going to be pretty damn important here. Next bit of time. Gosh, it's always like makes the upward move up, and then we just see dry. Did anything else move? Let's see. Apple, one to watch, right? 30-minute turns down for Apple. Pay attention. Remember, Apple with that 2-hour signal, more likely to have a lower high here. Tesla trying to see some kind of bounce. Amazon showing some weakness here. See if that 2-hour can rotate down. Nvidia popped up. We'll see if that's able to hold. Good move, but if AMD is suffering and SMCI is suffering, why isn't Nvidia? People getting a little euphoric? Just a little bit. Microsoft isn't in a great level actually to form a handle, so we still want to pay attention to bullishness. If things are going to swing up, we don't want to be taking downside plays yet. We can always buy a little bit of time. Google. Let's just look at these 2 hours though. Look at that 2 hour. If we see weakness here, that's a pretty good wick. Google not getting the best news these days. Same thing with Microsoft. You got to be careful if even these 30 minutes start to rotate close enough to negative territory. 2 hour lower highs possibly there. VIX breaking down just a little bit, going to 20.03. Dollar still pumping, and as of right now, we got to pay attention if this turns up on the weekly, and look at that, it is. Oh no. Oh no. August of 2023 was the last time that really went up. August of 2023 is where we saw that consolidation, July into August. And that's the last time we really saw the dollar start to curl up on a weekly scale with divergences. So we could consolidate in some way, maybe down to the bottom of our channel, or this could break that channel this time because the signals here on the weekly scale do not look pretty. Daily scale still not looking the best, but not terrible. All right, Q's, what are you doing? Turning down now. See if we get a retest. Volatility did just react down to 20 on the dot. SPY holding up pretty well there. Shoot. Baby girl didn't sleep good, which means we didn't sleep good. And then I had to wake up early to meet my brother. All right, Q's, you cross over here, it's not going to be a good thing. Right now we're seeing a great thing, but what is about to happen in the next 24 hours? My goodness. All right, guys, baby girl didn't sleep well last night either, so a little bit worn out. Just a tidbit. Volatility actually dropping below 20 for a brief moment. Let's see what happens. That is dropping lower and lower. If that daily crosses, we can squeeze harder. Go look at max pain. My goodness. What is that put wall at 550? Someone is saying that the market's going to drop to 550 like this week. A lot of people are saying it. 118,000 contracts. Goodness. Maybe people just gravitating towards a whole number there. The heck, there's a third assassination attempt? No one told me? Okay, the why is... Bitcoin. No, nothing. Of course, I'm going to hop on. See, retail hour is the fun hour, and I miss that hour pretty much. So we're just going to like sit and watch this thing consolidate or something now until the end of the day, and then we'll see what happens, right? Let's look at something fun for a second. Ooh, see if that 30-minute can cross up. Level to get past for AMC 458. GME suffering a little bit here, but 22.22 for this week. Netflix not looking the best before earnings, confirming daily triple diversions here for Netflix. SPY. See if that rotates back down, now holding back above 24 volatility. Impatient with it, huh? Yeah, max pain really isn't something that I read into too much, right? I don't really use it as like an excuse. Pacific time sucks, huh? Yeah, I don't really utilize max pain too much. I don't think it's just a more of a thing to be like, okay, we can like be like, okay, we could see support at that level, right? Market makers wouldn't want that to break below there. We just know there's a bunch of orders sitting there is kind of how we read into it for the most part. But that's for the end of the week. It could take a lot of time for us to hit those levels. We don't use that as a reason to take a trade in any way. It's more like something fun to look at. You can read into sometimes. Yeah, and OpEx, a lot of the time you'll see the big orders. It's like they let those kind of settle out, and then you see a big move the next week. That happens a lot. This bond, yeah, everyone, a lot of people mentioning the bond holiday, and that's the thing too. Like Laws and Pomeranian, first of all, cute doggy, but second of all, you know, there's plenty of different traders out there. You could read into something with a totally different strategy. It could mean something good for you, your strategy, but something bad for someone else's, right? So it could be useful for someone else, not useful to you. That happens all the time. Right? It's like you could use POC levels, volume, things like that. People utilize that a lot. Today we officially start the bear market. I think this might be your trap right here. Remember, we're leaning towards that top forming. I would say probably in the first couple days here, but maybe it leads into Wednesday if we see like one more push up. And by one more push up, I mean that's if we start to drop here and then we see that turn back around, and then maybe something else does end up happening. Because we've kind of gotten rid of the good reversal signals, I would say, for the 30-minute. I'd like to see them kind of pop up again, right, for a great trade. But if we start turning down on the bigger time frames, right, if we start turning down on dailies, that's not going to be a good thing. All right, so that's what I'm mainly going to pay attention to. Once I see a daily blip, because the thing about this is we're gonna probably be able to hold up, and it's gonna be buy the dip until we actually get some bad news, right? Or good news to really get that to boom higher and get some more participation. I mean, we still have stocks like Google and Microsoft down extremely low, but we need some form of news, right? We talk about that a lot in the past, how those divergences, if you don't have any news behind them, hey, they can just base out and turn back up. So we didn't get any news for something like Nvidia as far as for a downside play. We haven't really gotten that yet. So anytime this turns down, if there's no real big news behind it and you see it kind of turn down a little dramatically, we want to pay attention if that's curling back up. Oh, tons of bad news out there. It's just tons of bad news that can affect the market. Tons of bad news that can actually cause someone to hit that sell button. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be news that can make people need to sell. Watch volatility at the 20 level, exactly, and we have that marked off. We're looking for that little divergence there because volatility is still holding the reversal signal here, still holding it very, very well. So if this can turn up from here, which that's why we're watching the SPY can show us that as well. That could mean the 2 hour is going to take off. That thing can go positive. We can start to break through some key levels. We have good structure here too on the bigger time frame. So yeah, there's plenty of bad news out there. It's just what is going to scale up with that bad news. Because if all that bad news is out there and it hasn't caused people to sell yet, you might need some kind of little fire starter, right? You might need a little match or something like that. Look at IBM. Oh gosh, what is IBM doing? IBM, first of all, making a 30-minute divergence. Pay attention to that. Let's see what the 2 hour looks like here. Now, this could be cup and handling, right? We always want to pay attention to the other side, but also as this thing has headed higher for a long, long time, you kind of got rid of this first divergence, just a pullback with that, but you're still holding, ooh, not the best looking divergence there. So at this point, you would say rejection can happen. Maybe an hourly can actually show us that rejection really nicely here. But for the most part, looking at the daily scale, we see that thing is scaling up and up and up. Yeah, I think this is, who thinks this is like what? What do you think? 6 stocks really holding the market up at this point? Is this just going to be chip and AI stocks hold the market up? Is that what this is going to be? Yeah, I saw Boeing with the big layoff. I wonder what that's doing for the most part here. More so, we want to look into the data, the jobs data later on. Boeing lays people off all the damn time. This was the last decent signal. This was an okay signal. That didn't really play out. That's surprising that this did not play out a little bit better. I mean, I know we still got that move up to 194, but you really expect a good reversal and trend here, because you're probably going to have 2 hour divergence with those two lows. You have daily triple divergence. Ooh, but okay, that's the thing though. It's rather flat on the RSI. So here, again, another form of flatness there. Let's look at this on the... Sorry, I got the hiccups again. Weekly time frame making a divergence for Boeing. So we're still in this kind of continuation triangle, a very, very big one. So we can see reactions. Maybe we coil up on a weekly scale. Sean, you're going with some inverses there. Now, you still just need that bad news to actually take over and cause someone to want to sell. They uninverted again, or they inverted. Okay, so they didn't re-invert. Someone was saying that a couple weeks ago that they were re-inverting, and I was like, I don't think that's happening because it's pretty simple, right? 10-year higher than 2-year. Hit the bid, you're looking at, oh, for IBM. Lost. Whenever I see a trade and I'm like, this one's the one, it's just like, it's not. No. My interest. Okay, so tell me what your thoughts, guys. I genuinely want to hear some thoughts out there. Let's use our brains for a little bit for fun here. Let's think critically. Why would TLT have such a good reversal signal? Is there going to be, what would be the reason if this did play out for TLT to reverse around this trend on a 30-minute for these yields to need to drop as they're actually scaling up very, very rapidly, right? These are scaling up rapidly, but I'm just saying if this would play out, would this be a reaction to safety in some way from TLT? What do you guys think? If it quacks like a duck, it's a KGB agent. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, what are you doing now, Volatility? You're trying to, but we need that bad news. Maybe someone will go to lunch and release some bad news. Extreme greed once again. Let's go check on that, actually. I haven't looked at, I know, it's CNN. It's probably not the best one. Yeah, we're back into that extreme greed. Crazy thing, a month ago we were neutral. A year ago today we were at almost extreme fear. We were one notch away from extreme fear. Oh man, yeah, you look at this chart for extreme greed. Wait a second. Net new 52-week highs and lows on the New York Stock Exchange. Price breadth, actually the breadth not there. Put call options. So this has the put call options sitting at 0.68 on CNN. I don't know if I trust that too much. But this one's interesting. I actually think this chart's fun to look at. Like, look at the separation here we're going through again. We can hold that for a while, but eventually we come tag it. We tried to tag it here. Tried to tag it here. Tried to tag, end up tagging. Tried to tag, maybe end up tagging. We'll see. NU looks good to you. Any thoughts on Hum? Ron Walker has been saying we are going to crash since February. Yeah. The thing is, I think it was in the spring we actually did have signals that I think that was, I'm pretty sure it was in the spring at some point, maybe not February. July. Yeah, see, remember March? This is when we said you have to be ready to react, right? It was March, though. February, I don't know, maybe it was late February, but yeah, February was not the time for that. And then this is where we spiked down. And if you remember, it was here that we saw some of the rig behavior, saw that move up. And then this was the move that was psycho crazy. This was the move that we were like, wow, we're seeing an extreme amount of buying and an extreme amount of retail going to the put side. And we were like, we could see a rigged move by the end of the day. And then that Friday, it boomed by like, I think it was like 10 points in 5 minutes. And it just saved it right there. So this was probably the time to watch out, but you curl back up. Okay, awesome. You curl back up. Okay, awesome. Now it's time to watch out. You curl back up. Okay, awesome. Now I think it's time to watch out, right? We can have those periods of time of bullishness, and we catch those a lot of the time, right? We caught it with using NVIDIA a lot of the time with these lows. That really helped us out, and the monthly expected moves over on Patreon. My voice cracked. That hasn't happened in a while. But now I think it's another time to pay attention. But what is Ron Walker saying? Like, is he saying like now? How close do I think we are to a 5% downside move? I think you could see a 5% downside move by the end of November. I think you could see that. I think that is reasonable. But you need to see it proving here. So pretty much like this. I mean, if you get a daily to cross here and you break through this low, most likely you're going to make some kind of little bounce like this, and then you curl back down. Then you can end up being down by about, you know, from that level, you would say, maybe from the breakdown here. Oops, pulling that across. That's like 2%. You might get new monthly expected moves. Maybe you measure from, if this actually started to play out now, you would kind of measure like this and you'd say, okay, how low can this take us? Maybe take the bottom here. Okay, we can go about 5% down if we break this low after making some consolidation or some structure. But there's no real justification to that right now. You know what I mean? There's no real justification to it because you're turned up in positive territory. So until that flips down, you can't really talk too much. We are seeing some rig behavior, and you have a reversal signal on volatility, and you see that reversal signal also popping up for Apple. So two things to pay attention to right now, I think, are TLT, or three things. TLT, volatility, and Apple are going to be some key things today. Check the Dow. Let's check the Dow, but the Dow's still seeing strength there. Holding the daily divergence, that's going to be important. The thing about the Dow is not necessarily the most crazy move in the world. Still a good move. Still a good move. Maybe we need to check on DIA. That might clear things up a little bit. Remember this, we're just holding that divergence down there. So I think the key thing here is still going to be the 2-hour curling down. But you can see the easy structure to head down if we're going to head lower, right? You see how we're going to do it. Something like this can take place. And these red lines are not daily expected moves, just so you're aware. They were just some levels that I was paying attention to last week, I think. And then Palantir's been screaming higher forever. I think Palantir has a chance to say, okay, now we're going to reverse down if it goes a little bit deeper, right? Because we want to make sure that's crossing. Oh, god dang it. I want to make sure that's crossing over. Ron Walker was saying though the crash, like the tech crash, was only a pullback. He just made me be too bearish back in the day. Oh, I meant like, what was he saying now? What's he thinking now? I mean, I've seen some of his videos, right? I've watched a few. I think that was like last spring that I was watching him. And I think back then he was paying attention to the right things. I think people brought him up because I was talking about, hey, you got to be wary of a crash here. He might have been saying the same thing. So I'm guessing, since people are bringing it up, is he saying the same thing? That's kind of what's coming in here. He'll be right eventually and take the win. I mean, in a way, I think a lot of YouTubers, and I would include myself, can be guilty of seeming like, I haven't watched enough of his videos to really give an assessment. And from what I remember, they're like 45 minutes long, and I would watch like 5 minutes when someone suggested it. But for the most part, a lot of people can seem bearish in their thumbnail, their title and that, but as you go through their video, kind of like mine, I try to give both sides so we know how to react, because we always know it can go in either direction. You know what I mean? So if he is doing that, then I think that's okay. But I think for me, it's just the fact that not going into the shorter time frames is a little bit, you know, you got to go into the shorter time frames frequently. I'm a fan of his TA. He puts a lot of effort into it. I think I did say this. I said this about him then. I think his macro's on, because when he was talking in February, I think that's when someone mentioned him to me, because I was saying, hey, we could make one more move higher and then we have to watch out for some crash signals. I think he was saying the same thing, and that's why people were pointing him out to me. So I'm thinking his macro might be pretty good. But it helps to understand a little bit of both, because you can make like 100 hourly divergences and things like that, right? That's why we talk about both sides. Yeah, he uses upper time frames. Yeah, so he's probably got it. Maybe I'll watch one of his videos tonight. How about that? I'll watch one of his videos tonight. Maybe I'll put it on while I'm letting my video upload or something like that. I don't like to watch other people's analysis unless I'm really stuck on something on a particular chart. I don't really like to watch anyone's analysis. I want it to be what I really think is going to happen and what I am seeing in the signals, really trusting myself and holding myself accountable to what I'm saying. So you think I'll enjoy it? I want to see it, because if he's talking about the bigger time frame, does he go into weeklies? Because the weekly's the big one, man. This is the big one right here. This is a big one right here. Like, these are some major things to pay attention to. Trying to consolidate above the daily expected move as of right now. Mike Jones. Wait, is Mike Jones the who's Mike Jones? I feel like I have the wrong person. I have in my brain. Are you talking about the rapper Mike Jones? I thought you were talking about Mike. Is it Schwartz? Mike Schwartz was fun. Before I had a YouTube channel, I would go into his chat and bring up points, and he would talk to me constantly. I would love to just chat with that guy. He's fun. But he just does things completely differently than me. Mike, I know, but you type Mike Jones, so I'm like, Mike Jones, Mike Jones, you know what I'm saying? Wicked stocks, I've seen those too. Then a cyclical bear market. Oh, okay, sick. Okay, awesome. So he's leaning towards bear market. Same, girl, same. All-time high depends for what, in my opinion. If the Qs make the all-time high, I'm kind of leaning towards this extends. Yeah, Jason's got it. I think that if the Qs can go up and get towards these levels, or at least even test them, right? Test it, maybe even just take it out just a little bit. I think that you have an opportunity for this to extend into 2025. Okay, so he says that the historical charts put the crash signals peaking somewhere in the next few days based on the Fed rate cut average and the peak market. I do believe the Fed cutting rates was a massive mistake, and I was talking to my brother about it this morning because he does he's an MLO, and he was talking about rates, and I'm like, yeah, I think it was a big mistake because now you have geopolitical things that can really cause disruption. You have the hurricanes that can really cause some inflation. You have that deterioration in the housing market, most likely from the hurricanes. And you just don't have a lot of buying, I think, going on in the housing market right now. You actually have more and more Airbnbs trying to be sold right now. So I think that's a big, big problem. The supply is starting to get a little bit bigger and the buyers still aren't showing up. And now those rates are having to head a little bit higher, which is kind of a bad thing. China is going to really mess up Bank of America. All right. Is this it? Bank of America? China's going to mess up Bank of America. Right now, Bank of America looks good, but from what I was looking at, I think they got liquidity issues out the ass. I mean, we always save our banks, right? And this is a great swing trade signal. So right here, swing trade signal, consolidation, breakout. Great look from charts. That's why we follow charts, right? I can read, I read like 3 articles on Bank of America and China, and I was just sitting there going, okay, this doesn't sound like a good recipe for Bank of America if the thing with China goes wrong. If it goes right, okay, but if it starts to go wrong, it's going to be bad. But that's why we pay attention to charts, because charts will tell you, hey, this thing curled up, momentum's good, right? No, I think you're actually seeing some euphoria today. I actually still think we have that opportunity as the dollar is still going higher. It's in our zone. We'll see if that drops off. Maybe we buy more time. But for the most part, I think the dollar heading higher today is something to pay attention to. Laws thinks Bank of America is a little terrible. No bear market. And the thing is, it's more like play the signals when the bear market happens. You're just going to see better signals, in my opinion. You know, I actually got to trade that bear market. And we're going to do that, by the way. I'm setting that up right now so that we can go through some bear market stuff with you. Yo, you guys are throwing out some awesome people. I might write some down and just do some fun looking at stuff. What do I think of BRICS? Well, didn't they, I need to look it up, because didn't BRICS just make a big change, and that's kind of why Bitcoin is doing good? Let's go news. Didn't Bricks like just make some kind of move or something? Am I crazy for thinking that? I was seeing something with Bricks. Oh, Sean. Hey, 1342, thank you so much for subscribing. You're about to pop up right here. You're about to pop up right here, I swear. Yeah, and there are times, and this was something that I was researching with someone who's probably smarter than me, but I was looking at times before big elections, and we actually do have certain cycles that show some kind of flash move down before the actual election takes place. So I'm interested to see that. Oh, dude, I love laws. I'm on this. I'm in the same boat. I love bear markets. I think they are so much fun to trade. You can literally see two trades outside of opposite ends of weekly expected moves in the same week. Yeah, BAC is up 55%. Yeah, and that's because I think they're buying more time, right? But they have liquidity issues, so that could stop very quickly if that comes to light. The thing is, it could be, if nothing happens, right, then all right, it's still going to be okay. But if they have some serious liquidity issues, that's not going to be a good thing. India stock market crashing? Okay, that's probably the first sign. Who's got an India stock market ticker for me? GME big bounce on the 30-minute. Whoa. Why did that happen? Remember, these 30 minutes curl up. We got to pay attention. George Gammon's a little doom and gloom. Well, like I mean, relatively, I can be called a doom. Some people would maybe consider me a doom and gloomer too, right? I believe we're going to go into a horrible bear market, but I'm just paying attention to the signals before it happens. Like, I was pretty doom and gloom last week, wasn't I? I was like, I don't think we have a lot of time. Like, right? I don't think we have a lot of time left. No way you're a doom and gloom. Okay, good. That's good. I think that's good. I really want to, and I think that's good to hear from you guys, but it's also good because we can stay a little bit not necessarily unbiased. We're still looking for that moment, but at the same time, we see signals like this and we know that's a good thing. Right? We saw that signal from Nvidia. We know that's a good thing. We saw the signal when Apple was at its lows of 2024, right before that earnings, and we said this is a good thing to see. Sunday Post was bearish. I think that we need to be aware of that this week. I like to just point that out early on. But from here, we're still going to take it. As price action develops, we can always change our thinking, and I think that's the cool part. Yeah, I just don't look at these markets too often, so I just wanted to see. Let's look at it from a bigger scale here. You notice, you'll see divergence and stuff like that. But let's look on the weekly scale. I think this is the main thing. Oh my goodness, that is not a good look. So you crossed over about right there, headed a little lower. We'll see if that can project higher. Did that cross or start to cross a monthly? Monthly divergence isn't really there for the Indian markets. What's wrong with the US 20-year? Okay, first of all, we don't want the monthly. Well. Oh, is it not moving? Is that what you're saying? Here, let's look on a short time frame, see if this is moved. It's moving on mine. Is it not moving on your charts? It's not moving today. I have a timer and it looks like it moved 8:30. Oh, and 10. Wait, that's not right. And then it didn't open at 6. We just have no bar at 6. Why is that happening? That's a little bit strange. 20-year only do it based on the TLT. So TLT maybe is the reason for that. Okay, so maybe that's why. But if that's true, then we should technically see a gap somewhere else if that's true. I don't see a gap on a 30-minute anywhere. Oh wait, you do have a small, tiny blip here. Look at this. You have the tiniest little green blip here. Bond market closed today. We're seeing movement though, aren't we? QQQ just filled the gap. Let's go check that out. Did it fill the gap? Oh, we did fill the gap. This is what I'm worried about too. Remember, we were like gap fill, watch out. Now we're saying also pay attention if it goes up above this weekly expected move. That can mean this might be just a corrective move over the next couple of weeks. But if this turns down from here, we might have a bear market on our hands. Pretty excited. I'm checked. Checked to the tits. GME with a strong move and then not able to fully break out. Still need that 30 minutes to curl up. Same goes for AMC. Mara, my goodness, what is Bitcoin doing then? Wow. Now, Bitcoin did have, remember we were talking about this last week a little bit, how that 4-hour signal matters and that can turn things around. And it is turning things around. That daily is crossing up. Why would... First thing here is bear market. Yeah, we're not fully, we're just waiting for signals here, but that's what you got to be worried about with the move that we're seeing. We filled the gap. No, did you? Yeah, so we have a recipe for it right now. Unique. We do have some rigged behavior. You have a PCC low, so a lot of calls coming in. You have the dollar higher, and the market's higher right now, so you have to be aware that if things start to rotate down, that can rug pull a little bit, and we're out of our 68% zone for the day. See, everyone's like, bonds are closed today, but am I crazy for thinking this is moving, or am I psycho? Bond ETF. Maybe bonds are closed. Maybe that's not going to move too much. The ETF trades, but not the actual bonds. Okay. That makes way more sense now. Lee's like, bonds are on vacay. Yeah, I'm sure there's still like, I'm sure there's always orders out there, but. Alrighty. Volatility holding the signal, just barely holding the signal as of right now. This channel's awesome. Yeah, everyone's chatting in here today. I really like it. I like that people are giving their opinions. Keep giving your opinions. Can be indicative as well. And I think China's trying to save it. Ooh, volatility. What are you doing? What's the SPY doing, guys? It's just not really seeing that come in too much. Volatility. Let's watch this for a second here. Let's see if this sees a move. Let's get that unlocked. Gary. Meow. I love that emoji though, Gary. I think that emoji's great. I'm gonna make some emotes for you guys. Well, I say I'm gonna make them. If I made them, they would look like stick figures, so my wife's gonna draw them herself because she's an artist. If anyone is very big into art, she has some fantastic pieces. She sold one at a garage sale. Someone just pulled over because they were like, oh my gosh. And we were doing a garage sale and just selling one of hers. And she sold for like, I think it was like $250. I was like, damn, you need to make more paintings. I like when, you always like when your wife makes money, you know? Meta's about to make a round trip. Meta, seeing that curl up, gotta see if it curls back down. For now, still could be cup and handle, but if you don't get that confirmation from the 2-hour this week and that starts to take out these lows, not the best look. On SoFi, you're short Apple, Nvidia. I actually do like the Apple signal. Can I talk about that first before we talk about SoFi? I don't mind this signal from Apple. That's a very significant divergence. Now, you do have the opportunity to come test a key level, which the weekly expected move is right in this area. I'm just gonna let you guys know that's where it is. So if it's gonna react up, that's as high up as really the options market sees it getting this week, but that doesn't mean you can't experience something crazy. We'll see. But I do like that signal as of right now. If it would confirm, it looks like a decent signal. And Apple, I trade it all the time. Oh my God, can I not have the hiccups for 1 second? I trade Apple all the time. I really like trading now. I haven't traded it as much lately, pretty much since that earnings play. That was a long time ago, actually, but that was just a great trade. As far as it goes for SoFi, you're just seeing a very, very euphoric move. I mean, something that would be good for this, laws would make sure to make your weekly expected move for this, okay? That would be a good thing to do for something like SoFi, something that's a little bit more volatile, right? Because this thing's been kind of whipping back and forth. But as you're exploding higher, you got rid of all the divergences. That's nice. Like, notice these divergences, how they didn't play out. And right away, you just want to turn into a swing trader when it doesn't play out, right? We want to go, oh, okay, the divergence comes out. And you might even say this, was it kind of playing out? That's a pretty decent pullback down to the 200. You get the reaction up, and now you're a swing trader, right? Kind of be, what's that movie? Or what's the Pokemon? Be Ditto. Be able to change a little bit. Be able to change a little bit. Because, yeah, this could have been cup and handle in some way. Right? This could be cup and handle in some way. Need a few more buyers. Project to the upside. I hope the daily on AMD turns down. Well, AMD... just interesting to see how bullish NVIDIA is getting. And then you see AMD and you're like, wow, if that 30-minute turns over, I don't like that. No, there's not going to be a soft landing. If there is going to be one, it's going to be a fake one, and we're going to go through something even worse later on. That's just how it works. You cannot, it's just, it's like, it's like the chances of getting a soft landing are like 0.001% all the time, no matter what the media is telling you. That's how it works. You want to look at, just look up right now, Jackman, and I appreciate I think it's a great thing to bring up, but just look up the times that the media has said soft landing and then look at it, 6 months to a year later, look at the market. It's never soft. It's never soft and floppy. It's always hard. Well, so at the times where you might have soft landing, I believe there is a period where you might bring up even I think it was 2018, was it 2018? But you have to understand that they didn't fully do the job. I know, Chad, I was trying for it. 07, that's the main time you're thinking of. There were a ton of soft landing, and notice we've talked about soft landing for years now, a long period of time to talk about it. But if you look at something like 2018, technically, I think this is one thing Trump did not do well, is he actually stopped them from doing the rate raising, I believe, and forced them to cut earlier than they should, which caused it to seem like a soft landing. But notice what happened when something bad happened in 2020. I know that was a crazy thing, right? But that can be something that extends. Usually soft landings will extend it, and then the next one will be like really, really bad. So I wouldn't even consider them soft landings. I just consider it an extension. But someone can debate me on that. I mean, I'm sure someone knows a little bit more about it than I do, but that's how I see it. I more times don't see soft landings as real soft landings. I see them as extensions of the overall bullish trend for a couple of years, and then uh-ohs happen. Take a look at IWM. Yeah, we can go look at IWM. And we're supposed to give you weekly expected moves for this as well. Let me update those for you since you asked about it, and you were very nice asking about it. Just gently asking. That's what we like to see. IWM for the upside expected move, 226.24 to the upside. So a little bit higher there. This is going to squeeze together on this one though, 216.28. Do I have that right? Yeah. So you'll notice that it's down by these levels. So you can easily see how if we extend there too quickly, that could be a trap. And you obviously see the breakdown where we could see something crazy is if you take out these lows. You got the weekly expected move sitting right there. But for now, the 30-minute getting pretty cooked. We'll see if that can pull back at some point. And a lot of this, you know, IWM, GME is a big stock in IWM. Oh, 2-hour divergence as well there. The 2-hour divergence, that can rotate around. Is the daily able to curl up? Daily's curling up right now for IWM. What does that mean for GME? Remember, GME, this is going to be the big thing to pay attention to, just when that daily crosses. And this is something I was bringing up over the weekend, how liquidity issues from Bank of America, just so you know, Bank of America is tied, like, I believe it's tied directly into, I want to say AMC, but it might be Blow. I know they're connected to like BlackRock and things like that. But for the most part, daily turns up here. You got to pay attention. You can see something crazy if you start to break through 22.22. And IWM on the daily scale is turning up saying, hey, I'm a good play, but just watch out, okay? We've hit these levels a few times, okay? So if we head a little higher, get up to this level, just watch if this rotates down, because that might be divergence really close to the center line. We still want to take it for what it is right now. Looks like we're trying to consolidate to break through a high, but if that fails, it can be a reversal signal very, very quickly. That's an interesting one. I kind of like IWM. It looks fun. Apple's going to be a big one to watch as well. Oh, shoot. I have to head out. Damn it. My morning got flipped upside down. I have things to get to. I kind of tried to put them off for a little bit. I do have to head out, guys. But I really want to try to do closing streams this week, okay? I really want to try to. If I can do a closing stream at the end of today, I will. So make sure you have your notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed. But, God, I want to stay on, but I just can't today. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know that I was really looking at stuff early on in the day. I think a key thing to pay attention to today is, one, we have some rigged behavior setting up for us, saying there could be some insider selling behind the curtain, or someone is selling behind the curtain. Volatility is going to be a big one to watch. As that continues to drop off, we need to pay attention if dailies roll over. But for the most part, it's really looking like rug pull by the end of the day could be on the table. We don't want to guess that is happening. We want to see it proven in the charts. How you're going to see it proven in the charts? I think if you see something like Apple rolling down, could be a... Wait, you unsubscribed? Did you... Wait, you... What? Dang it. No. Even if you unsubscribed, hey, I hope you're out there getting some good info from someone, all right? But thank you guys so much for joining today. Really do appreciate it. I'm going to try to go live again later today. If you don't see me later today live, then make sure to tune into tonight's video, because we're going to be breaking down what happens by the end of the day. And then we'll be live tomorrow morning, and I'll try to set up a closing stream for tomorrow, okay? I want to subscribe. Sounds warming. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you guys seriously for being here. I know I was a little late. I'm sorry about that. We will be live at the open tomorrow for sure, and hopefully doing a closing stream tomorrow. But look out for tonight's YouTube video, okay? I'm going to leave you guys over on, what do you guys want to watch? I'll put you guys over on I think the Qs are really important to watch as they have just filled that gap and came back into their range. So let's see if this 30-minute can cross over here. Might mean some bigger things, all right? Thank you guys. Hope you have a good day. Stay safe out there. Make sure to manage risk. All right, guys, trade like water. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, and if you guys want, the courses are down there in the description. Patreon's down there. Patreon, really, really helpful. And we're going to start doing, maybe soon, we're going to start doing more live videos over on Patreon for Patreon members throughout the day. I think that would be a good thing there. I might just make a tier for that. So thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you. Hope you guys are good. Peace. And I'm going to leave this on here for a little bit if you guys want to hang out and keep chatting with each other, all right? I'll be fine. I'll look at GME real quick. I was just standing up. I'm literally standing up. Oh, there you go. Okay, maybe I'll sit down for a second. Maybe I'll sit down for a second, guys. All right, maybe I'll sit down. What the heck's going on? We were looking for that 2 hour. Get to positive territory. We have reversal signals on the daily. Look if that daily crosses up, all right? That's going to be a key thing. This is more fun than the SPY right now, honestly. Ah, shit. Am I going to... All right, here's what I'll do. I'm going to go try to take care of something. I'm going to leave the live video. If I can just hop right back on, I'll hop on. But don't feel the need to stay. Just if you see this thing live at like 11:15, I might be back on. All right, I'll be right back. I'll check it out if I can. I'll try to hop back on. I might have to shuffle some things around because this is too fun not to watch. But I'll see you guys in a little bit. If not a little bit, I'll see you guys tonight on YouTube. All right, guys, I bought like 15 more minutes. About like 15 minutes here, right? Be well. This is Sparta. Do you know how many dreams I have? Of like someone trying to take my daughter away from me or something, or take her away. And then I end up Sparta kicking him in the chest a lot. I bought myself 15 minutes, guys, so. And then right when I come back, GME stops popping off. But that's okay. Tighten that up, get our water going for the day here. Oh gosh, today's just ass backwards right now. Volatility's still shutting down at the moment. Alan, stop jingling. PCC, yeah, we'll leave that up here so you can see it. And we'll leave you guys on the Qs maybe, but we got a little more time. What got me into it was seeing that pop off and actually researching into it. And looking like, okay, what is the actual thing that is happening here? What's going on? What happened last time? Why did this actually go up? Because, you know, how they word it is, oh, there's a slight short seller problem, but retail caused a big upward move, and it was all retail. And what I realized after researching was I thought it was just that because that's what I heard. And then I start looking into it and I go, okay, is there a short seller problem? Are they out of those positions? Is the stock behaving very funky? And then I go, okay, there is. And once I started to notice there is, I go, okay, I'm just going to buy this thing. And then if one day it ends up scaling up, that'd be awesome, you know? Yeah, retail, that's what you need to understand. They're going to blame it on retail, but retail's not the reason that the stock could go to whatever they say, you know, $1,000 or something. The real reason it goes to that level is because there's been some illegal short selling, right? There's been some short selling in it to really make the stock go to zero to benefit rich people, right? They got greedy and thought they wouldn't fully get caught. And they're technically, it's like the SEC just lets it happen. So the only thing that can really like stop them is the people, and that's something that I really enjoy. I actually think that's a good thing because it's like that with everything. At the end of the day, who can stop, you know, something bad happening in society? Well, average people. Who can stop, say, tyranny? Well, average people. Who stopped, say, Hitler in the past? Well, a bunch of average people getting together and coming together as one and doing something great. So that's why I really like it. But I'm not ever going to say it's a for sure thing. I think it's like has a very high potential to happen if enough people can hold the stock and if more and more people buy into the stock and they run out of liquidity. But GME starts to make the big move. We'll see. The SEC, yes, yeah, the SEC. Who was it that got caught in what 62? I think it was $62 billion. Was it Citadel? Might have been Citadel. $62 billion of trades not recorded or reported to the CAT system. And what did they get fined from the SEC? What was it, like $1 million? I think it was $1 million. Like, oh yeah, so it's like, oh, they can rig with 62 billion, but you're going to charge them 1 million. Wow. Yeah, you're really on the side of the average American, the average retail investor, aren't you? Lee, you're kind of correct, actually. Bear markets are known to screw over as many people as possible. That's what it's supposed to do. Really, I don't know who's calling me. Really, bear markets can be useful for market makers, right? Market makers, it can be useful. But other than that, if you don't know how to trade it, it's very difficult. That's why we have the course out there, and we're going to go over that a lot soon. I'm going to make that maybe a Saturday video for Patreon. We're going to maybe do that live or something like that soon. Especially if the bear market starts, we'll do that. We'll just go through some of those bear market times for the Qs, the SPY, some other individual stocks, and show you what good setups look like. And maybe even show you some of the trades that I took for Apple that were really beneficial. Yeah, in a bear market, you make really good money if you just know how to trade it. You be patient, and the best part about bear markets is you don't have to be that patient. You usually see like 1, sometimes even 3 setups a week if you're paying attention to, say, let's see. Well, if you're paying attention to like the Mag 7, you'll probably see 1 to 3 setups a week. And those can be some easy doubles. That's why I put out my doubling strategy in that course in the description, but very, very helpful. Wasn't trying to mention the course a bunch today. I just genuinely was trying to be like, all right, let's just watch the market together and really see what's happening. Yeah, laws, that's true. Let's see, if you made $62 billion, would you gladly get fined $1 million? Gladly. Yeah, and a lot of that's due to liquidity issues, but they're collateral, right? A lot of that's to do with collateral because a lot of them are taking out borrowed shares using what they have as collateral. So when their collateral gets damaged, that's when the liquidity issues really start, and then that's where you can see those big squeezes, like in Volkswagen. It happened with the first time I heard of it happening was the railroad company back in like the 1920s, I think. Very, very cool story there if you go look it up. I read it a long time ago. I wouldn't remember it enough to repeat it, but Camille telling me how to get rid of my hiccups, and I appreciate that. Prepare yourself, guys, for down on the Dow big time. Let's go check out the Dow, by the way. The Dow is just screaming higher, like, please, everyone buy me. We're definitely not going to rug pull you, even though everyone's getting into calls and the dollar's going higher and crossing on a weekly chart. We're definitely not going to. Remember what we said, too, the last time we broke down the dollar? It is when the weekly crosses. That's when you really want to pay attention. That's when you go, okay, now this momentum's getting heavy, and you probably have days left, right? We'll find out. My wife's... I accidentally left the door open, and she's talking crap on me right now to my daughter. I'd spend $1 million on lunch if I made 62 billion. Where the hell do you spend $1 million on lunch? I guess you'd have to take a bunch of people with you, wouldn't you? Well, you can't really give a percentage until those signals turn down. It's pretty much you're sitting like this. It's like, this is bullish, right? So until we see those signals turn down, you wouldn't really say much. But what you can do with something like the DIA, right, is we can start to look at, say, weekly expected moves. Which, since this is the Dow, I mean, the DIA upside is, we're just going to do this quick. I'm not going to draw it out, but 434.84. So 434.84. So from this level here to head down from this level is actually, if you really want to take the statistics of it, if you're at 434, the percentage chance for you to head down from there, let me do the math real quick. Let me think. Is about 84%. So 84% to head down, 16% to see something crazy. That's why you'll see a lot of the time you'll just hesitate there. Like we did kind of like last week at the daily expected moves, we're kind of just like hesitating there, touching it at the end of the day, because time starts to eat away at you. But technically, if you see like us do a move towards 434 and you have a major reversal signal like weakness and momentum behind it, you would say about an 84% chance to drop down from that level in some way. But that doesn't mean you have an 84% chance to do that. It means you have an 84% chance to do anywhere like below these levels, right? But the crazy part is, as you drop, then the percentage gets less and less and less, and now that 84 can switch. So that's why it's like you got to be on your toes. Depends how good the lunch is. $467,000 BLT sandwiches, dude. All right. AMC and GME both get worth like 10 grand a share. All right. We can all get lunch together. Let's all go take our private jets and go get a BLT from a little mom and pop sandwich shop. BLT ain't bad. BLT ain't bad. BLT hits sometimes. Sometimes. My go-to is Planet Sub, the Planet Sub. That was my favorite sandwich ever. Extra mayo. Okay, why did that make me think of Undercover Brother? When you said extra mayo. And he's like turning white or whatever, and he's just like, extra mayo for me, please. What a great movie. Oh god. Shoot, I'm reaching my limit here, guys. I'm not supposed to be on right now. Duck and hoisin sauce? Bro, you make me want to go get pho. Get me like one of those banh mi's. And then I'm going to dip the banh mi in the pho. Oh, God. Got to bounce, Lee. Hey, thank you so much for commenting today. Really do appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's fun to bounce stuff off each other, so I appreciate it. IWM going. Ah, GME. It was fun for a bit. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the stream now because I really do have to take off. So I will be talking to you guys later today. I'll try to be live. Once again, I'll try to come on live later today. If I can't make it, just look out for my video later on YouTube, all right? And I'll get you those daily expected moves for the SPY and the Qs. All right, guys. Have a great day. Peace out.